Someone who has been through too much eventually sits down, on a bed, on a bus seat, on a bathroom floor. It doesn't matter where. What matters is the feeling. They don't sit because they're tired. They sit because something inside them quietly collapses, like a bridge carrying more weight than it was ever designed to hold. If you've ever lived through something like that, even once, you know it doesn't break loudly. It doesn't crash. It folds softly and silently, as if the heart itself whispers, "I can't hold all of this at the same time." People who have gone through too much understand that moment in a way others can't. And the strangest part, you rarely realize you've become that person until life forces you to notice. Someone asks, "Why are you so calm about things that should bother you?" And you don't know how to explain that it isn't calmness. It isn't peace. It's numbness. The quiet stillness that grows when your mind has been stretched far beyond what it was designed to process. It's what happens when your emotions have run too many marathons without rest. Most people think resilience means strength, but for someone who has endured too much, resilience feels more like survival. It's something you develop because you had no other choice. And because of that, you carry something others can sense, even if they can't describe it. There's a gravity to you, a depth behind your eyes, a softness in the way you listen, a pause before you answer, as if you're measuring the emotional weight of every word. You learn to fold your emotions into small spaces. You learn to keep walking even when your inner world feels like a storm. There's something paradoxical about it. People who have gone through too much often appear wise, calm, mature. They seem like the ones who have it together. But if anyone could open their internal world, even for a moment, they would realize this maturity wasn't simply earned. It was forced, not developed but extracted, not chosen but required. Some people grow because they are nurtured. Others grow because life refuses to give them the version of childhood or youth that everyone else seems to have. When someone's nervous system has been overwhelmed too many times, it adapts, not gracefully but desperately. It reorganizes through hyper-awareness, through bracing, through anticipating the worst, even when the worst isn't coming. If you've ever wondered why you overthink, why you scan for tone shifts, why you prepare for problems that haven't happened, this is why. Your mind learned that uncertainty was dangerous, so it built defenses you never consciously asked for. Even after healing, remnants of those defenses linger, like old architecture beneath a renovated building. People who have gone through too much carry an invisible curriculum. They know how to read silence. They sense tension before others notice it. They step around conflict the way someone steps around broken glass. They calm others while their own heart trembles. They make themselves small when attention feels unsafe. These aren't personality traits. They are survival responses, emotional reflexes wired into the nervous system. There's a tenderness in people who have endured deep pain, a gentleness that comes from knowing what suffering feels like, not in theory, but in experience. And that tenderness is often mistaken for weakness. But softness doesn't come from having an easy life. It comes from having a difficult one. You become the person who comforts others so naturally that no one realizes you were rarely comforted yourself. You know how to give warmth because you've lived through cold seasons. You know how to hold space because you've had moments when no one held it for you. But behind that empathy often lies exhaustion. Not loud exhaustion, quiet exhaustion. The kind that makes you retreat instead of rest. The kind that sleep doesn't fix, only understanding does. You become someone who can carry everything except yourself. Someone who gives clarity but lives with unanswered questions. Someone who struggles to ask for help, not because you don't trust others, but because your mind learned early that relying on someone else could feel unpredictable. And unpredictability once meant danger. So you become independent, not out of confidence, but protection. You self-soothe, you self-correct, you self-analyze, because you had to. From the outside, you look capable and grounded. Inside, you feel tired and quietly overwhelmed. You live with emotional contradictions, open yet guarded, caring yet detached, hopeful yet cautious. You don't avoid vulnerability because you dislike it. You avoid it because vulnerability once came with consequences. But here is the truth no one tells you. Nothing about you is broken. Your caution makes sense. Your depth makes sense. Your reactions make sense. Adaptation is not a flaw. It's intelligence responding to experience. And despite everything, there is something profoundly beautiful about people who have gone through too much. They love quietly but deeply. They appreciate small kindnesses. They cherish peace because they know chaos. They value sincerity because they understand the cost of pretending. They continue, not because they are unbreakable, but because they've been broken before and found a way to stand again. They interpret life. They reflect. They search for meaning. They turn pain into insight. And underneath all the survival instincts, there is still a part of them that wishes life had been gentler. Not perfect, just softer. Yet even without that softer version of life, they move forward. They learn boundaries. They learn self-worth. They learn the difference between instinct and trauma. They learn to open again, not recklessly, but courageously. They carry invisible grief for versions of themselves they had to outgrow too quickly. But they also carry wisdom. They are not fragile. They are not damaged. They are adaptive. They are emotionally complex in a world that prefers simplicity. Their mind is not a battlefield. It is a testament to everything they survived and everything they learned. And maybe the most beautiful truth of all is this: anyone who has gone through too much has the potential to become a lighthouse. Not because they always shine, but because they understand darkness. Not because they are perfect, but because they know what it feels like to be lost. They turn pain into perspective, perspective into wisdom, wisdom into quiet power,